A very good morning and assalamu alaikum to all of you. You are all invited to the conference virtual seminar.
Walaikum Assalam.
You all are hereby invited to the virtual conference and seminar organized by Department of Economics and Business Administration, University of Education, Lahore, Wehadi campus. The patron-in-chief, as always, Professor Dr. Talat Nasir Pasha Saab, and the patron goes to Dr. Sheikh Israr Ahmad Saab. It is being chaired by the Dr. Muhammad Arshad Saab, Dr. Asim Iqbal Saab, the Chairman of Department of Economics and Business, and Professor Dr. Muhammad Shahid Tufail Saab, Department of Economics and Business Administration, University of Education, Lahore. This conference is being organized by the Chief Organizer Dr. Muhammad Rafiq Saab, Assistant Professor, University of Education, Bihari campus, and the organizer Dr. Muhammad Tahir Khan, who is also an Assistant Professor of Economics and Business Administration, University of Education, Bihari. The topic today for which our speaker is invited is like Dr. Abdul Wahid Sial Saab, who is Associate Professor and in the Department of Business Administration, Ilma University, Karachi. He will discuss and elaborate more about the capacity building with the 7 habits of highly effective people. So I would like to just introduce Dr. Abdul Wahid Sial Saab. He is currently working on SDGs as well and recently approved many different project as well. So he is currently serving as an associate professor in the Department of Business Administration. He is also a director of Incubation Center, EIC Ilmai Journal of Social Sciences and Economics, and currently serving as associate professor here. So I would like to invite our main speaker, Dr. Abdul Wahid Sial Saab. The floor is yours, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to me. I'm really thankful for University of Education Lahore, and especially to Dr. Muhammad Rafiq, who provided me with this opportunity to be here with all these friends who are in the session. So I thank you all, and I would like to start with a brief discussion over the 7 habits of highly effective people. So, could you just help me to share my screen? Actually, we are used to Zoom, so it's the first time I'm using this Google Meet. So, can you help me with how to share
Yes, sir.
screen?
There is a fifth
Uh,
button which is like mentioned as the
Present now?
up area is present now. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
When you click it will have a window, like you can
You.
select a window button, and there you can select your PPT as well.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So, is my PPT visible?
Yes, sir,
I
we all
hope.
can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, so as the topic has already been discussed, that we are going to discuss how we can build our capacity with the 7 habits of highly effective people, and my introduction has already been made. So let's get on with it. So before going towards the 7 habits of highly effective people, so I would like to discuss, or let us understand that what is capacity building. So when we talk about building capacity, we are actually emphasizing the process to develop and strengthen our skills, which could be abilities, processes, or even the resources that we need for our survival in the fast changing world. And those resources and abilities could be varying according to the needs of individuals, needs of communities or organizations. So, for equipping ourselves with the latent resources, abilities, and skills, transformation is a very important element when we are emphasizing our capacity building. That's and transformation itself is generated and sustained from within as the time goes by, as long as you continue with developing your skills, your abilities, resources, and that their change from within will take you towards the change of your attitudes, how you look at the things, and ultimately that attitude, the change in attitude will lead you towards the change of your mindsets. So this is how we can build up our capacity according to the different areas where we are working, and where we know that how we can keep up with the latent trends and needs and requirements of our jobs. So theme of the book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. This book is written by Stephen R. Covey, and this book is actually a 7 course meal that how we can control our life, how we can become a fulfilling person. And this book is a key to success for people in all walks of life. Either we are trying to integrate the different responsibilities in our personal, family, or even professional life, or we are working on our business career or even the business entities. We can also discuss about that. So this book provides a practical wisdom for dealing with all those aspects of life. So these are the 7 habits. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind. Like being proactive emphasizes that you are taking the initiatives, how you can take the initiatives to groom yourself. Begin with the end in mind, put first things first. And fourth habit is think win-win, that you have we need to be cooperative rather than thinking of our own self. And seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. So this is the excuse me. So this is the overview that these 7 habits lead us towards. Before we are taking any initiative, that we remain at the level of dependence, that we are not able to take ourselves anything. We are not taking any initiatives. We are only looking at others that who can help us out from different situations or different times that we need their support. And when we think of the first habit of effective people, that is to be proactive, that we begin to take the initiatives. We begin to see the picture of our projects that we are doing, any task that we have begun. So we just foresighted that how we want it to end. So the second habit. The third habit emphasizes that how you prioritize your things, how you prioritize your schedule, how you put the importance on various things. And that the first 3 habits basically deal with the private victory, because you are working as your own for yourself alone. And that leads you towards the independence, that you are no more dependent on anybody to help you out in any sort of issues. And the next 3 habits basically lead towards the public victory. That is, you become a team player when you think win-win. You do not think of yourself alone. You think that I want to win, but the people who are working with me, who are in a team with me, are either I am a team member with them, but the success is for everyone. We think that everybody should share the fruit of the success that we are working on. The 5th habit leads towards that first you need to understand others. You have to show your empathy towards other people. You have to be caring about them, listen to their issues rather than speaking your own problems first, and reluctant to listen to grievances of other people, because such people cannot build up the team, they cannot cooperate. And the 6th habit is to synergize. Well, we will be discussing in detail each habit, but this was just an intro that how we are going to take on further. So when you are able to synergize, you are able to get the cooperation from people, work together with them. This becomes a public victory, that you are able to share your success with other people and they are happy to team up with you. And when you are successful at doing it, then you become at the level of interdependence, that you begin to trust each other, you begin to share your responsibilities with each other. and that encompasses your public victory. And the seventh habit that you can see out here, this is the sharpen the saw. That means that all the six habits from be proactive to synergy, this means that you have to be working on, this is an ongoing process, you have to be working on improving and developing your skills that you have learned so far, because this is an ongoing process. So we cannot treat it as a one time activity that for one assignment, task, or project you took up all the initiatives that are required over here, and then you just quit and you feel that there is no need to further develop my skills or abilities to deal with various other things. Because as we discussed earlier, that this is a fast changing world, so we need to be learning, we need to be putting our efforts into learning how to do the newest things, how to benefit from the challenges in the shape of opportunities that we are taking. So we need to be working on sharpening the saw. That is to be developing the skills and abilities that we have learned so far through the platform of these seven habits. So the first habit, that is be proactive. This gives us an opportunity to be taking the initiatives, to be looking at the positives of the thing rather than being reactive. Let's take this example that if I find, or if someone finds that there's nothing I can do, okay, they, such people find a dead end towards things. But this is a reactive form of language that shows the entire negativity, that they just surrender, give up, that they cannot do anything. But in this situation, being a proactive, this habit gives us light to look at the alternatives. When we find such a situation, then rather than being reactive or emotional to say that, okay, this is a dead end, but we should be proactive for thinking at the alternatives. So let's think of the alternatives, substitute plans that could be beneficial in dealing with certain issue where we find that that is a dead end. So some people say that's the way I am. So they just give up, that they cannot change, they cannot learn anything. They have to go as it is. They cannot equip themselves with anything that is in trends. That could be the systems, new softwares, new learning environments. They just give up. They want to be stuck with the traditional modes of the operation in their different fields. So in such a situation, being proactive would provide us with an opportunity to see that I can choose a different approach rather than sticking with the old phenomenon that they have been doing. They have a source of choosing. They can find, they feel that they have the confidence, they have the potential to choose a different approach for fulfilling their task. And another form of reactive could be like, he makes me so mad. This is an example. We can feel that such people whose feelings are easily controllable, then if you find them busy in their task, you just play something and you will feel that they are really distracted from their task. They become mentally disturbed. And this is easy way to be controllable by others. So in such a situation where reactive says that I just give up, I am just sick of someone who is really disturbing me. In such a situation, the proactive person would say that I control my own feelings. I cannot let others control me. So this is a proactive form of choosing the different alternatives, choosing yourself to control your own self rather than being controlled by others. And this is a very important aspect of being proactive. This deals with the principle of personal vision, that how far you can see. You see, this figure provides you two circles. The outer circle is the circle of concern. Now, can you think of any issues that you can only worry about? You do not have any influence to change those circumstances, change those results, change those situations. You are unable. Like we see that when the COVID would stop, why other people are not taking care of the SOPs. So these are all the things that we can only worry about. Let's say We find people discussing economy of Pakistan, the inflation rate. All these things are the issues that a common person can only worry about. He does not have the influence over these circumstances. He cannot bring any change. So proactive approach emphasizes your circle of influence. That choose your area. How small it is, it doesn't matter at all. That emphasizes on your circle of influence, that a place where you can bring some change. Like you can be very much careful at taking the SOPs against COVID. So this is your circle of influence. You can put that atmosphere at your home, at your office or institution. So this is your circle of influence. Like the members here at University of Education, they can take the maximum precautions to avoid any unwanted circumstances due to COVID. So they have this circle of influence where they can really make difference. And the proactive approach actually wants us and emphasizes us to be widening and spreading this circle of influence. The choose areas where you can make difference and keep on widening this circle of influence. As long as you're successful in widening this circle of influence, you are practicing in the true letter and spread this habit of most highly effective people. So let's move on with the second habit of highly effective people. This is begin with the end in mind. This habit basically deals with the principle of personal leadership, that how you can lead your own projects, your own tasks, assignments, how you lead them, how you prepare that. Let's say any task or any project you are beginning today. So you have to be able to see, you have to prepare that in a way that you can see the image of future picture, just like the end of your task or any assignment that you are leading, you are going to embark on. So you have to see that how it will end. It means that you have the clear understanding of your destination, that where you want to reach. You have to define your destination. Because if we are starting anything, any task without thinking that what we want to achieve, it will be simply useless. We cannot, we are, even the people who are working on the assignment, on the thing or any task, they themselves don't know their what they want to achieve. Then what would be the use of this sort of start or any task that we are embarking on? So it is very much necessary to decide the destination. Like, for example, if a new student at University of Education Vihari campus, he wants to reach the university campus, but what if he puts a wrong address in the Google map? So how fast he goes, how hard he tries, but we don't think that he could arrive at the right direction. That's because the direction he has set is not portraying the picture of his destination. That is, how fast he would be 1 step 1 mile away from the destination and 1 mile near to a wrong place that he didn't desire to arrive at. So therefore, the second habit of highly influential people emphasizes us to develop our mission statement. That is, we already prepare, we already equip ourselves that where we want to reach, what goals we want to achieve. And then we have to prepare the strategy that how we can achieve our goals, into what processes we need to go through in order to arrive our desired destination. So this is the third habit of highly effective people, that is put first thing first. This is a principle of personal management, that how you prioritize your things, how you understand the importance of doing the things. Now, This habit is,
Sorry, Dr. Saab, sorry for interruption.
yes,
Like your slides are not moving ahead.
sorry,
The slides are not moving ahead, sir.
the slides are not.
Moving, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know
No
why.
problem, sir. No
Uh,
problem.
okay, now which slide is visible, sir?
It's the first one, sir. We
Oh,
are seeing the first one.
only the first one.
Yeah.
Actually, I am at the, I think the third habit I was going to start. Uh,
No problem, sir. You can again like resume from the start.
okay,
Yeah, it's
okay.
moving. Now it's fine, sir.
It's fine.
Yes, sir.
Well. I'm sorry for this inconvenience.
No
If it
problem,
happens
sir.
again, please let me know so that we can. Sir, this is the first. Uh, which slide you actually had been doing? We were discussing this diagram, this figure. Was it visible when we discussed?
No, sir. It was not visible.
Okay, let's have a quick look then before moving further.
Of
So I
course, sir.
think I well introduced the theme of the book that it is written by Professor Stephen R. Covey, and then we had the overview of each habit. So is this seven habits slide visible? Excuse me. Hello. Is it visible now, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please let me know. This was the figure that we discussed, that how we deal with the private victory and public victory. So you can see this. We already discussed it in detail, and this was the first habit that we discussed of reactive and proactive language. That how we can be taking initiative or how we can just easily give up the things. And this was the slide for the circle of concern and influence. And this is slide for the second habit. You see, we discussed this in detail. And I hope that the slide for habit 3 is visible now, so that I can start with this. So habit 3 deals with the principle of personal management. This habit emphasizes that how you can prioritize your schedule, how you can know that which things matter most, because the things that matter most, they cannot be left at the mercy of things that matter least. The habit 3 put things first things first emphasizes that we need to organize and execute around our priorities. We have to see that if we have a couple of assignments, a couple of targets or deadlines, then we have to arrange them according to their significance. We have to see that how important they are, and according to their importance, according to their timeline, deadlines or dates, we have to be working on those priorities, and we have to schedule all those priorities accordingly. This is not a habit of effective people, that they start with the things that are least important. This would be only wastage of time, and this way people cannot be effective or successful, because they are not learning to prioritize their schedules. So effective people are not problem minded. That is, when someone have I have observed many times that when some challenges come, there are some difficult tasks, difficult assignments or projects, they start with those things, either they are important or not, but they start with those things that are easy to do, so that this is a form of self deception, that you are trying to look busy, you are trying to justify yourself that at least you are doing something, but you are not scheduling your priorities according to the level of difficulty or according to the level of challenge, that how important, how significant those issues are. Maybe to do something, to achieve a task, to be successful on it, you may be needing to equip yourself with latent softwares. Maybe you need to develop your skills, you need to make pretty good preparation before you can get started with something new, some new opportunity that you have been assigned, you have recognized in your area of expertise. That may be quite possible that you need to make some preparation, and This habit emphasizes that how you prioritize your schedules, how you learn to do the things which are most important. You do them first rather than doing those things which are least important. So this is a form of time management matrix that you can decide. You can make a table like this that and mention that which things you have. This is an example like the things. The first row is of the things that are important. But among the things which are important, there could be some things which are urgent. They need to be dealt on immediate basis. And there may be things which are important, but they may not be urgent. You can be taking time to do the things. Like the urgent thing could be the crisis, as we are having nowadays. This example is really popular in when we talk about any crisis. There could be other pressing problems that could be according to everybody's life, professional life, family life, business life. So the problems, the pressing problems could vary from person to person. There could be different deadlines for each project, each assignment or task that you have undertaking. Now, accordingly, no doubt these things are important, but if they are urgent, you have to do them without wasting any time more. But at the same time, there could be some things which are urgent, which are important, but they are not urgent. Now, such activities we can say that could be relationship building or looking for new opportunities. Of course, that is important in order to groom your career, to further boost it. That is really important, but that is not urgent. Now, you cannot replace like your relationship building or opportunity exploring with the things which are really important and urgent. But if you mix them, then this would be a really the habit of defective people. Effective people cannot manage to leave the things at the mercy of time or their schedules, whatever they are doing. So they have to differentiate between the things which are important, urgent, and they are important, but at the same time they are not urgent. They can be done, they can be completed or achieved at any time that is feasible to them. The second row deals with the things which are not important. Maybe things you are getting during your work schedules, personal time schedules that are not important, but at the same time, those things could be urgent. You need to reply them, you need to work on them on immediate basis, although you feel that they are not urgent. There could be some interruptions, there could be some meetings which sometimes when we have the meetings we really feel that maybe it was not that much important to invest that much or quantity of time, but even then we have to respond on immediate basis. So at the same time we have things which are neither important nor urgent, and this is the true time waster we can consider, or we can include anything that we can even think of or imagine. That those things, there could be some phone calls. Let's say you are working on a very serious issue, you get a phone call and you are taking a longer and longer on that phone call. So what you would consider that phone was neither important nor urgent, but even then that interrupted you. But if at any times you are doing such activities, so you should have the idea that what you are doing, how you are prioritizing your schedule. So you have to be knowing that the things you are doing right now fall in which quadrant. So this would help you to prioritize your schedule, that how you can manage your time, how you can manage your priorities. The fourth habit, that is think win-win. This is a principle of interpersonal leadership, that how you can work in a team. This is, win-win is a frame of mind and heart, that you feel that you can team up with someone, but on what conditions? When we are working together, when we are collaborating any projects, either they are projects at class level, sometimes mostly we distribute students among various groups to achieve the various tasks related to their subjects, or there could be any research methods or so on. So what we do that, we normally distribute them, give them time and give assignment to the group, and then divide and distribute. That means that each of the team member is putting his or her efforts into the success of that project. And when everybody is participating, they are putting their efforts, they are investing their time into that project. That means they deserve to get the share of that success also. And if we develop our habit of thinking win-win, like win and lose situation is eliminated, we think that we are a team, we are a group, and this success belongs to everybody. And when all of us, all of the team member begin to realize that the decision is in the favor of everybody, everybody is getting the fruit of that success. So now this would give them a form of motivation. They would feel committed to the action plan. They would feel that whatever they are doing, that everybody at the end is going to share the fruit of that success, and that motivation will keep them stuck with the commitment. So in other words, we can see that win-win, is a cooperate, is sees life as cooperative. That there is not a competition that I win only and others lose. So we feel that everybody will give the input, will invest his or her efforts into the success, and at the end, everybody will share the fruit of that success. So this is a form of cooperation. The first, the fifth habit that seek first to understand and then to be understood. So this is a principle of empathic communication. Like this habit of effective people requires you to listen to the issues, grievances, and reservations of the second person, to show them that you really care about them, you respect them, you are ready to listen to their issues. And this is in other form that you need to diagnose that what the issues are before you are set to prescribe. We can understand that, take an example of a medical doctor. When we visit, he definitely wants us to tell what are the problems so that he can diagnose and prescribe accordingly. So in the similar form, when you are ready to listen to people, listen to their issues, grievances, then give your decision or give your remarks or feedback on it. So this would require and build your skills of empathic listening on the basis that inspires others. When you are ready to listen to them, when you are paying full attention to second person, this helps them to further open up themselves. They would really talk with you honestly, and this would be a trust building scenario, that you would be giving them full attention, you are attracting their trust, you are enhancing it in fact, and you are giving them an open way to express their feelings to the full. So this way you can acquire and understand the consideration, that before saying your own words, you are ready to listen to them. So this is, in short, again, diagnose before you prescribe. So listen to them, understand their issues first, then you can say what is your point of view or perspective. The sixth habit deals with the creative cooperation. This habit actually incorporates all the habits that we have learned so far. So this synergy is the highest activity in all the true and test of manifestation of all the habits that put together. We so far discussed 6 habits, that being from being proactive, how we can foresight the things, how we can begin with the end in mind, how we can learn to put first things first, to prioritize our schedules, how we can create a win-win situation when we are in the form of group, in the form of a team, how we can seek to understand others first rather than speaking ourselves first. Give opportunity to others to speak up, to say what their issues are, to understand them first, and then you can come up to the decisions. And this would create a form of synergy, a form of cooperation among all the members that you have taken on board, and that all the you are using expertise and skills of all those effective people in the form of different habits that you have learned so far. So synergy simply means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That means that if you are practicing each habit differently, that each habit has a different outcome, different output that you are practicing. Like you become proactive, you are taking the different initiatives at different times, so that is a limited outcome of a single habit. But if you are putting into practice the second habit of beginning with the end in your mind, that would help you to foresee what your destination is. So now when you combine these two habits, that the output would be different and greater. And again, if you take the initiative on the third habit and you learn to prioritize your schedule, this would add value towards your existing victory. And this way, from dependence to independence, and from independence to interdependence, you can grow step by step. And this is the message of the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And at the end, the seventh habit deals with sharpen the saw. So this is a principle of balance renewal. So that means that so far the habits that we have learned, from the first habit of being proactive to the sixth one, that is synergy. So all these habits, these are basically the skills and abilities that you have achieved so far. Now, all these skills and abilities need a balanced renewal. Like over time, we get latent ways to do the things. We get latest technologies, latest forms of delivering lecture, maybe their latest techniques to teach, or in different areas of work, we have different opportunities to deal with. So that habit actually means that you have to be renewing, you have to be enhancing and working on each of the habit that you have learned so far. You have to be developing your skills one by one, that is categorized into the various habits. Now, this habit of renewing in a balanced way would add to your personal capacity and production. It would be adding value to whatever you have done so far. So this is the ending note, that that which we persist in doing becomes easier. Not that the nature of the task has changed, but our ability to do has increased. So again, that means when we are taking all these habits into our routine life, that each habit gives us a proper learning, us a way forward. And if we are working on each habit as an ongoing process, because this is not a one-time activity, that is an ongoing process, that over time we have to be working on each of our skill. We have to be grooming each of our skill and ability and resources also. So when we are renewing all the resources, all the skills and abilities in a balanced manner, we would be successfully using the habits of highly effective people. Thank you very much. This was all. I would be happy if there are any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. It was so nice and so kind, like a very informative event I have ever had witnessed.
Oh, that's nice
Uh,
of you. Thank you.
I'll be waiting for such question. If anybody have any question, then he can ask directly from our Dr. Saab.
Of course.
So there is a question asking by a student, and he asking.
Please.
So there is a question asking by a student. He is asking about the and negative tendency
Yeah.
of our behavior. What are the impact of positive and negative tendencies and behavior?
Actually, these seven habits. This question reminds me of another book, that book by Sean Covey. That is the Seven Habits of Highly Effective and Defective Teens. So that means the seven habits. For example, we take the first habit, that you are a proactive person. If you are taking up the things in a proactive way, so that is your positive positive trend, positive ability. But what if you are reactive in all the times? You just behave in a reactive way. Like if you have a challenge, instead of highlighting or identifying an opportunity into that challenge, you just give up that I really can't do that. So that is a negative trend or negative habit of, that is the negative, the first habit of unsuccessful teams who think that we cannot do this, who react into every challenge that is in the form of opportunity in front of them. In the same way, if we see the second habit, that is begin with the end in mind. And the second habit of the unsuccessful teens is that they begin with the no end. They just randomly start something, and that becomes their one of the highly defective habit, because they are not positively looking at the things. So that is a negative aspect of if we consider. Now if you take these 7 habits at the 180-degree in adverse, you would find that these habits become the highly defective habits of people. So now you can further proceed on the second, third, fourth, and fifth. People who cannot cooperate, or people who think that victory is only for them, that we call them being selfish. They think that only we are there to win, nobody else should win. So that is again a sign, a habit of the highly defective people. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir, but there is a question that mostly we are in habit by the intentional way, but like we are not choosing a habit for us. Sometimes we do a practice and then it's become a habit. So how to avoid this kind of habitual things?
Yeah, that is actually for avoiding such, we have to stick with the schedule. Now, for example, you have taken today the 7 habits. Now, what you need, only listening to these 7 habits, listening to the positive aspects of these habits will not help us, any of us, in fact. What we need to do, we need to schedule our time. We need to incorporate these habits into our personality. We have to be practicing. Let's say from now onwards, if any one of us thinks that okay, whatever I get the opportunity, I would look at that opportunity in a proactive way. I will not see the negatives only, I will look at the positives. Now these habits, actually habit, the word habit itself is after some time it becomes unintentional. We do not think of this, but for changing our habits we have to be practicing. The practice is a very important element for this. We need to incorporate these habits into our life, and of course it would be difficult for us. So let's begin with 1 week practice, that you decide that for this whole week I'm going to act according to these 7 habits in my personal, professional, or family situation. I'm going to stick with this plan. So now you have to measure yourself up, that are you able to comply with the schedule that you have planned. Now if you are successful in practicing this plan or schedule for a day, then take it for the next day, the third day, and after a couple of days you will feel accustomed or feel used to these schedule, these habits. But if you are successful in doing this, you can easily, but that is not that much easy, you can be able to change your habits according to the habits of highly effective people. But of course it's a challenging task, it is a time taking process. This cannot be a one time activity that once you practice, because all these habits deal with the principles, they are not social values. What you say that positive negatives becomes a habitual thing, like you said. So that is somehow a social trend, that you are following the social values. And if we consider this, the social values and the principles, they are adverse to each other, they cannot go in the same direction. So if you want to leave, give up the trends, the habits that you have adopted so far, it is a time taking activity. It would take your time. It would give you a tough time, in fact. But you have to gradually adopt to the habits of effective people. And this way, I hope you would be able to change your habits, your attitude. You can change to be looking at the positives only instead of looking at the difficulty alone. You would be able to see the opportunity inside the problems, challenges that you face.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. The other question is asked by a student from the department, and he's asking that the negative habits, such as like playing games and going to somewhere to movies, are easy to adopt, and the positive habits, such as prayer, exercise, and study, is like a difficult to adopt. So, is there any key, any short way to adopt this kind of habits, or we have
Yes,
to practice?
of course. I hope you saw that the person who is asking the question, he saw the time matrix, how you can manage your time. The time management, first of all, to avoid any unnecessary or bad habit, the person needs to schedule his timetable. Let him put the things which are important, urgent, and important, not urgent. Now he has to define his schedule according to the time matrix. If he is putting the things, let's say the important things, urgent and important, and the things which are not important but they may be urgent are the things that are neither important or nor urgent. Now the person is talking about the fourth quadrant, that is neither important nor urgent. Now after scheduling his activity, he needs to see that how he is spending his whole day. Now, if he is wasting all his time at the fourth quadrant, that is neither important nor urgent, then he needs to think that this is a very serious situation, because he is not utilizing his time in any of the productive tasks. So he needs to give. For example, if he is addicted to playing games like PUBG that I find mostly people playing around, so he has to specify, limit some time towards this activity that is neither important nor urgent. And instead, whatever the time he saves, he needs to be giving that time to the things that are important, urgent. The first row of the things that are important and urgent. He needs to be specifying the time spent on the things that are urgent and those things that are urgent and important both. But if he keeps on playing all the time, then of course he is wasting his time into the fourth quadrant. And this, if he continues this, then he nobody can change him. He has to take the initiative. That is, be proactive. He has to decide that what is good or bad for him. And then, if he cannot give up, of course, the habits cannot be given up that much easily. So he needs to train himself. Of course it would take some time, but over time I hope that he would be successful in changing his own attitude towards the things, that how he is looking at. No, I hope I answered, sir. If there are
Yes,
any
sir.
other questions.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind answer. Uh, there are no such question like that anymore, I think. And if there is, then I would like to ask all of the contestants to attendees to ask the question. I would wait for 2 minutes and then we'll close, inshallah.
Okay, sir.
Sir, a student is asking a question that why it is important to be proactive and not reactive.
Yeah. Uh, Actually, if you are reactive, the reactive means that you respond to the things without thinking. You just become emotional and just respond to that thing without thinking the outcomes, that what could be the outcomes. If you get challenged, maybe you feel that, oh, how I can do, I am not that much capable of facing with the problems, I am not that much independent. When you are reactive, that means you are totally dependent. You are looking at other people to help you out of the circumstances. So when you become proactive, that means you are taking the initiatives. You are going towards the way to be independent. You are leaving the domain of dependence only. If you look around you, you would find probably some people who you always find not to be deciding, not to be taking any initiatives. They are always looking at the other people, that how are they willing to take up this challenge, then you just can think that okay, they can help you out, but you do not feel that much confident that you alone can do it. So when you have that confidence, when you feel that you can take that initiative, that you become proactive and you are ready to accept the challenges, that's because you begin to see the opportunities in the challenges. So that is why being proactive is very much important. And reactive people always lose. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, can I ask question, sir?
Of course, Sufyan, please ask a question.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Well,
Waslan?
Sir, a man who have no aim in his life, how can we help or convince him to create his life? मतलब aim कैसे पैदा करें? Because without aim, anybody can go to his or her final destination.
Yeah. Actually, that's a question that if someone has no aim, of course, when you are spending life only by changing the TV channels, looking at various entertainment videos on YouTube, that is not life. If you consider life that much level, then it's really easy. There is no challenge, there is nothing to be done. You have to just, how can you then differentiate a human and animal? We humans are different from the animals, that their life is only passing the time, eating three times, and that's what they are doing. And if we have the same objective, then how we can differentiate to be the human beings? So if you have no goal, no objective to achieve, then life is really that much easy. You don't need to think of anything. You don't need the habits of effective people. For what you would need, of course, because you are not prepared to do anything. So this session, these effective people's habits are basically a form of self-help. That if you are ready to take the initiative, if you want to be successful, if you want to make the difference in your family, society, in your country, or as a nation, if you want to make some difference, your objective will have a lot of help, support from these habits. But if you have no objective at all, well, we can formally motivate people that okay, life is a challenge, we have to do something, we have to show our existence. We Because people come and go, life is like a bridge, that is a long quoted sentence. But what if we have no objective? Then nobody is going to remember you because you did not make any difference. You did not prove yourself. You just came and passed your time and that's it. So to have an objective is very important. If you have an objective and if you are on the way to achieve that project, that makes you explore. Because if you have no objective, then of course you don't need to do. Then the life is very much easy for that person because he has to only pass the time through various sources of entertainment. So for the motivation, we can say that person, take that person into the counseling that we are here to do something to prove ourselves. But that is another aspect, that how we can bring those people into the motivation level or into that domain so that they start thinking of doing something. But this session, these highly effective habits are for those who are ready to take the challenges, who are ready to take the initiatives. I hope I answered your question.
Thanks.
sure, sir, you have answered. Thank you so much, sir. Uh, we will wait for another minute and for another question if anyone have. If anyone have any question, then
Sir,
he can
Assalamu
ask.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Yes.
Can, can environment affect sir, our habits?
Sorry, I didn't get your question. Please, can you repeat it?
Sir, can environment affects our habits? Because if environment uh, have big impact on our life.
Of course, the environment has. That environment, if we specify, that could be your company, like in which environment you are spending your time. Of course, the environment has impact on our life, but it has effect on to some extent. But now, since you are able to think, you are able to differentiate, You between what is right and what is wrong, you are able to understand what is for your betterment or what is only wasting your time. And in any environment you can be, but you have to think as an individual that what you are doing, how you are spending your time. Are you putting your time into the productive things? The environment, it can affect you, but what is your role? Your role is very much important. You would find that people who are at different successful levels around us, you would find that if you ask them their background, that which environment they have come from, they would really tell you a very dramatic stories, that how they have reached such destinations where they are at present. But what is that? That is their own self-help, how they helped themselves to come out of that environment, to come out of that company, to come out of that situation, how they managed to reach the present destination they are. So this requires your habits to be effective. Now, you can take for the simple example, either you can go with the flow or you can go against the flow. If your environment is not that much good, not that much convincing or motivating, now the choice is in your hands that what you want to do. Are you ready to go with the flow and be drained wherever the flow throws you? You leave yourself at the mercy of that flow. But to be initiative, to be highly effective, you need to go against that flow if the environment, the situation is not in your favor. But you have to show your capabilities, your standing, that you are ready to take the challenges, you are ready to take the initiatives, you are able to plan your schedules, you can do something, you have the capability to achieve. So all these, your instincts will take you forward and against that flow. How strong that is, how fast that is, that doesn't matter at all. You have to identify your own skills, your own abilities that you can really face. You can identify the opportunities from the challenges. I hope I answered it.
Yes, sir, surely you have. Another question from someone?
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, sir. I want to
Okay.
ask that how can we avoid negative habits?
Yes. For avoiding negative habits, I would suggest you to schedule your plan. Your timetable should be scheduled. Your priorities should be defined. Prepare your mission statement, that what you want to achieve. You have a personal mission, that this is my mission, and prepare a strategy that how you can achieve your mission. Remove, eliminate all those things which you feel are a barrier to achieve your mission. And I'm sure that all those negative habits would come in front of you as a strong barrier. And if you are successful to teach yourself, to train yourself into the form of being an effective person, then you would be able to remove all those negative habits, negative aspects from your personality, and you would enable yourself, because this is a practice of self-helping. I can only tell you what to be done, but I cannot do anything for you. You have to take the initiative by yourself. The first step you need to do is to be proactive, to take the initiative for changing yourself. And preparing a mission statement can right away help you to get out of those negative habits that you have currently. And I hope that if you prepare your mission statement and you keep on removing every day, one or other barrier comes in your way and you straight away remove it, take it out of your schedule, and you remain stuck to your mission statement, that what are the do's and don'ts. That simple is that you have to identify that what are the do's and don'ts for me, what I have to do to be closer to my mission, what are the don'ts that would take me away from the mission, so that I need to be avoiding them at all the times. So I hope that your mission statement is surely going to help you out to get out of the negatives that you have.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saab.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Uh,
Well,
I think the time is also over. I would be very thankful to all of you for attendance this conference, and it's been an honor for being such a accomplished individual and to be able to be a part of this dynamic conference. And it's been a pleasure being with all of you today. Thank you so much. I'm also thankful to Dr. Abdul Wahid Saab, who already speak about the capacity building points, and very much thankful for the competent authority of the University of Education, especially our chief organizer Dr. Mohammad Rafiq Saab, and the chairperson Dr. Mohammad Asim Saab, and our principal Dr. Sheikh Star Saab. So I will be very thankful to all of you, and I am very thankful to all of you, and will be in touch in next session as well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Saab. Thank you, and Allah Hafiz.